This happened on my way home from work one night. I had just finished my shift and I was excited to go home as it was a big day. I wasn't on the late shift either, so it was even better. I started driving home and I see someone walking along the side of the road, a hitchhiker. And he only looked around my age at the time too, maybe younger. I decided to stop and ask him where he was headed. He said he needed to get to the outskirts of town, but not in the direction I was heading. But I still decided to drive him anyway, as I was in a good mood. He got in and we headed in the direction he wanted to go. He seemed friendly enough. He had asked me general questions like how long I'd worked at Woolworths for, whereabouts I lived, how old I was, and how long I'd had my license for, and asked about my car, those kinds of questions. It didn't seem odd to me at the time, so I answered his questions. I went to ask him about himself, but then he went quiet. He didn't seem to want to open up. It kind of made me feel awkward, as I had just finished telling him about myself, yet he wanted to stay anonymous. Okay, well, fair enough then. We got to the petrol station at the highway at the entry into town. We pulled in, and he said he had to go inside. He then said, if he doesn't come back out in the next 10 minutes, that I could go. Was this where he wanted to go, or am I going to have to drive him somewhere else? My mood was starting to go out the window now, and I was starting to get hungry, and I just wanted to go home and have dinner. I sat there hoping he didn't need my assistance from now, and I was counting down those 10 minutes, hoping he wouldn't return. It got to 8 minutes, and sure enough, he came back out to my car and got in. Now the guy's demeanour was completely different now. He seemed angry, not happy and polite like before. Is everything alright, dude? No, it's not. You don't need to know, either. Alright, well, where am I dropping you off then? What, are you trying to get rid of me now? Well, no. It's just you wanted a lift, so that's what I was doing. I just want to get home soon, that's all. I then started to get nervous. What was this guy planning on doing? And where does he really want to go? We sat there waiting for a text message to come through to his phone. This text was to confirm where we were meant to be going to. After a moment of waiting, the guy said we had to go to the next suburb out of town, which was another 10-minute drive. I waited no longer. I started the car, drove out, and we were on the road again. We got to the street he said to go down, but then the guy gets a phone call from his mate saying to wait up the road to meet him. I started to feel really off about this situation now. It was dark. The houses were a fair way apart from each other. Yeah, it was a bit of a worrying scene. We then see two guys emerging from the darkness up ahead. The guy in my car then got out of the car and went and spoke to the guys outside. I sat there thinking, should I just leave? Because I had a feeling it was my cue to go now. They then started walking away from the car down the street. The guy didn't even say thank you or anything. So I started to turn around to head off, when all of a sudden, the three guys turned around and started running towards me. I quickly hightailed out of there and drove straight home. I knew I wouldn't be followed because none of these guys had cars. When I got home, I told my parents what had happened, and they told me to never pick up hitchhikers as you don't know them and you don't know their full intentions. I felt safe now. Thinking back on the situation, I don't know what they wanted from me. Were they using me as a driver? Did they want to hijack my car? Or something even worse? Who knows? But the situation was strange and scary.